Hey guys, it is MaddieJK, and like you know, this is no joke. So again, I got a few new people since my last video. Hi, how are ya? Welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to be telling another little story time about life things that I've experienced. But this one is actually a lot more recent than 6 years ago. This one actually happened 2 weeks ago. And I've been going back and forth with whether or not I wanted to share this story or if I should, you know, just leave it alone. But honestly, I thought, you know what, if there's anyone out there watching this video that does want to be a professional artist, they need to know that people like this exist even in the professional realm. So, yeah, story time. So, again, this happened 2 weeks ago, and I want to say it was last Thursday. Well, not last Thursday, but 2 Thursdays ago. So I was at home and I was working on some stuff for, you know, classes and whatnot. And I get a message on LinkedIn, of all places, from a guy saying that he wanted me to do some work for him. And he sent me these 2 multi-page documents, like Google Docs, right? And one was like a breakdown of like a TV show, and the other one was like, I don't want to call it a contract because it wasn't, because there was no place for me to like sign it or anything like that. But it was like I don't even know what to call it, but it was another document that had like his information on it and whatever. And basically it was a outline for a pitch that this guy wanted to do for a well-known studio, TV studio. And so I looked at it and I was like, okay. And under these documents, he had written that he wanted me to do the storyboards like I do my webcomic. Now, if you guys don't know anything about storyboards, this is kinda a red flag. Well, there's like 3 red flags here, but okay. So if you don't know what a storyboard or an animatic is basically the sketch version of a movie. Both live action and animated movies do it, but normally you see a lot more examples of it in animation because, of course, they are all drawn. So basically, it's the sketchy version. It's like not colored. It's not well drawn. Well, not well drawn, but it's not like cleaned up. The line art isn't like, you know, pristine and everything like that. It's just, you know, it's a sketch. So for this guy to say first off that he wanted me to do it like my webcomic was definitely a little weird because, you know, my webcomic is full color, it's shaded. Yeah, and like that's not how that's not how animatics are normally done. So I was like, okay, that's odd. So, and then secondly, in all of the documents, like all the pages that I saw, he never once mentioned payment. Once! I specifically looked for it, and there was nothing mentioning how much I would be paid, if I'd be paid per hour, anything. So I was like, okay. So I messaged him back, and I said, you know, your story sounds interesting, and it has like a Rick and Morty feel or whatever, but you never once mentioned payment, like how you would pay me for doing this storyboard or animatic or whatever. And so he responds, and basically, I'm gonna paraphrase here because I don't have all of the screenshots. I have some, but not all. And I'll tell you guys why in a minute. Well, in a little while. But basically, he told me that he wouldn't pay me until the show had been picked up by this studio, right? Until he knew for certain that the show was going to be picked up. And I was like, no. And I did a little further research because, again, he was asking for storyboards, right? Like, written storyboards. And so I looked it up just to see, like, how much work this would be. Because I was guessing he was talking, like, the pitch. Like, he wanted me to do the storyboards for the pitch. And I looked it up, and apparently in the industry, a episode is normally 11 minutes long, so it would be 11-minute long storyboard, and that takes up to 4 to 6 weeks for professionals to do. Now, obviously, I like to imagine I'm good enough to be, you know, up there, but I mean, obviously I'm not. I'm still in school and everything like that. But I mean, I've never done, like, you know, storyboards for sale. So, I mean, I had to, like, think about how much money that would be and everything like that. So, and again, he wanted this in full color. So I did the math, and I was like, oh my God, he wants me to do, like, 8 weeks worth of work for free. And I'm like, no, that's not happening. And then, of course, I did the math, and I had to figure out an entire thing because, of course, I have never done a storyboard or an animatic commission before. So I had to think about how much I would, you know, even get for that. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go like $12 an hour. And like, this was beyond like $1,000 that this would be worth. So I was like, and so I messaged him and I was like, you know what? I'm sorry, but I can't do it, especially if I don't know if I'll be paid. And then, of course, I like told him about, you know, in the industry, it takes like 4 to 6 weeks to do this amount of work. And, you know, you want it in full color, and that would be an additional time, especially since I'm still in school and I would have to make time outside of my job and my classes and everything like that. And I was like, yeah, and even then, this is like over $1,000 worth of time and work that you would want me to do, and I can't just do it for free. And his response, I remember, he was like, wait, what do you mean like $1,000? I just want you to do like stills. Excuse me? I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I just want you to draw like a still of the characters and then like their names and then like their like personality quirks. And I was like, you mean character sheets? And he was like, no, I don't want character sheets. I don't want the expressions. And I was like, this guy doesn't even know what a character sheet is. Like, he wrote storyboard. He wrote storyboard. Like, no, those are two completely different things. So now I'm like, oh, so you want character sheets that don't have expressions. You just want, like, you know, the characters shown and everything like that. And he's like, yeah. And before I could, you know, ask him, you know, about anything else about the characters or anything like that to even get an idea of how much that would be if I even ended up doing it, he went into this weird long spiel about how he's an amazing writer, how all of his friends think he's amazing, how his college grades reflect his amazing writing skills, that he had perfect grades in English. Like, I kid you not, he brought up his grades and all this other crap. And he started getting more desperate, telling me that, oh, you can definitely get picked up by the people at this company and they'll totally bring you on full time. And I mean, just imagine how much work you can do if I bring you full time after you do these pieces, like, still implying he won't pay me for this, right? And I mean, he gets so desperate at one point, he told me that he would give me half the money he gets for the rights to the show if it's successful. I didn't know what to say, because first of all, I couldn't believe this was happening. I was like, oh my God, this is a choosing beggar. I'm experiencing a choosing beggar. Oh my God. And, or is it for exposure? I don't know. It becomes choosing beggar after a minute. And, well, it feels more like a choosing beggar. But yeah, so I didn't know what to do. So eventually, I think I contacted my mother, or my mom called me or something like that. And I'm at this point, I should also preface, I'm laughing my ass off at this point, because I just find this so funny, because this guy is at least in his, like, late 20s, early 30s, and he still hasn't realized that, like, no, this isn't happening. Like, he's, like, trying to use college grades to get me to work on this thing for him for free, after I've discovered that he didn't know what a storyboard versus an animatic was, and I don't know what. That just bothers me. If you want to work in the animation field, or, like, do anything, like, production-wise, I would expect that you would know the difference, or at least know the different areas, but obviously he didn't. And I mean, I don't even advertise that I do, like, character sheets, like, on my LinkedIn page. In fact, actually, on my LinkedIn, it actually, I'm listed as a comic book artist. So, that also does storyboarding. So, again, I have no idea why, you know, this guy even picked me or whatever. I don't know. Maybe he thought that because I was a college student, I'd do free stuff for him. I have no idea. But yeah, so I talked to my mom for a little bit, and she was like, no, you have to be nice, and you have to be polite, and you need to be a professional about this. If you're not gonna do this, you need to be, you know, polite. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but at the same time, I'm like, he's not getting the hint. And my mom's like, you know, you need to, you know, be the bigger person. And I was like, fine. So, I messaged him back, and basically what I said, I don't have this. Again, I'll explain why in a second. I basically responded back saying, I don't care. Well, I mean, again, I was way more polite. Again, paraphrasing. I said, if you're not going to pay me, then I can't help you. You have to understand that I am an artist. Art is my job. I have been going to school so that I have the ability to work at the pace I can and get paid for it and do a good job at what I do. And I just can't give out my services for free because, I mean, I need to make a living and everything like that, and that's how every artist on this platform is. I remember specifically I said, just because this is your passion project doesn't mean it's mine. And I hope you can understand that. And I said a few other, like, you know, like niceties, like, I apologize that I can't help you. I hope you find an artist. And I said, have a good night. I thought that was the end of it. I thought, you know, I've told him no. I've explained my reason. I've given him a few tips on how to, like, approach artists in the future, you know, because I think I gave him, like, 3 things. I was like, at least have, like, an idea of what you could afford, at least be able, like, willing to communicate with an artist about payment, even if it's not a lot. I mean, if you want a artist, I don't know, again, not looking at it, so I'm paraphrasing. So, but I thought that was it. I thought, you know what? I've said my piece. He's gonna accept it. He'll move on. Whatever. Boy, that is not what happened. So, about 5 minutes later, I get a message back on LinkedIn, and he basically said, you don't understand that this is crucial to my survival. He said that, he told me I was a greedy bitch. I remember that specifically. He told me that he had been homeless for 7 years and that he couldn't work because he had a mental disability, and that this was, he was living on the street and this is his way out, and basically told me that it's my fault that he is still suffering because I decided to be greedy. And I started laughing my ass off. I won't lie. I was laughing so hard when I read it. I was like, oh my god, what just happened? And I remember I ran into my roommate's room, and I made her come in. I was like, please tell me that says what I think it says, in all caps. It was in all caps, by the way. and tell me that I'm not crazy. And she read it and she was like, what the hell? I was like, yep, I'm not crazy. He actually told me that. He actually said that. And I was like laughing my ass off. And so I went and I was like, I need to screenshot this, right? So, and I had screenshot some of it earlier. And I was like, I need to screenshot this. Oh my God. And so I went to click to like make the messenger bigger, like make it full screen. And it was gone. Like totally gone. And I was like, what the heck? And I went, the ass blocked me. And I was like, oh my God, that's, oh no, oh my God, he did not. He blocked me or something, or he deleted the conversation. So I lost all of that. But I have the first part when we were talking about the storyboarding, so I can prove that he actually did this. So yeah, but oh my God, I was laughing so hard. And I remember the next day at school, I went into class, to my animation, like senior project class, and I told my professor about it. And it was the funniest thing ever. And he made me tell it again to the class. And like they looked him up, and apparently he's also a SoundCloud like rapper or something. And so we listened to his song, and oh my God, it was the funniest experience ever. So yeah, so that was my first experience with a for exposure person. I mean, like a legit for exposure person. And I found it amazing. Because it's like, part of me's like, you don't make it until you get the for exposure guy. But at the same time, I was like, I felt kind of frustrated. Because I was like, I don't understand how people, especially like people who are old enough to know better, like they don't understand that artists need to be paid. Like, I know it's like a whole like meme at this point. They're like, oh, I'll pay you in exposure. But like, I never had experienced it like myself before, like other than like kids being like, oh my God, I don't have enough money. Can you just do it for me for free? Because you're nice. And I just don't get it, fam. I don't get it at all. And this guy, I really also hate that this guy pulled the whole I have a mental disability thing on me. Like, no, we don't pull that here. Like, I have known so many people in my life that, you know, actually struggle with issues, struggle with depression, struggle with it. I mean, I have anxiety. I have chronic anxiety. Like, I hate when people try to, like, excuse being a dick because, oh, I have a mental disability. Like, no, like, that's not what causes you to act like this. And it's like, if he does have a disability, I'm sorry and I feel bad for him, but like, that doesn't automatically mean that you get free stuff. Like, it doesn't. And I mean, also, I also know people that have been homeless, and it's not fun at all, and they hate it. But it's like, there's a difference between like asking for something in need and like just being happy that you get what you get because you need it, and just being a dick. Like, you know. So yeah, so that was my experience with this guy. I guess the main reason I shared it was so that you guys know, if you do want to go into art, it'll probably happen to you. And it will happen in the weirdest places. I mean, again, this happened at LinkedIn. In LinkedIn, of all places. And, I'm not going to share the guy's information or anything like that because, you know, I'm not going to be that guy. But, I wanted to share this to let you guys all know that your art is worth something. You and your talent is worth something. And you should not ever let someone tell you that it's not, just so they can get ahead. If you have worked your butt off for years, if you're going to school for it, I mean, your art and your ability to make art is just as, like, good as someone who's making tables or is making jewelry or anything like that, you know, like, we're artisans. We make things for people. Like, we deserve to be paid for our work. And if someone is trying to tell you otherwise, then you've just met someone that's on Reddit for exposure or choosing beggardom. I don't know. So, so yeah, that is all I have to say. So, sorry if this is a little rambly in some places. I tried to, go the route where I just write bullet points and, instead of a full-on script, because I felt like my script was a little, robotic when I did it last time, and everyone that commented or got that talked to me last time told me that they liked me being a little bit more off the cuff and a little bit more raw. So if you enjoy this ramble, let me know in the comments down below. Update, my comic Del Rio is officially up. I'm sticking to about an every other week posting date right now. So the last time I posted was last week, and so I'll be posting again next week. Probably this Friday, I don't know yet. I am active again on my Instagram. I am active on my Twitter, more or less. My DeviantArt and everything like that. So if you want to follow me or if you want to read Del Rio, the links will be down below. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye!